This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. Hammer Horror by The Practical Atlas. Introduction. The Gothic heart of British cinema. From the moment the blood-red Hammer Films logo appeared on the screen, audiences knew they were in for something special. This was not the polite, restrained horror of earlier decades. This was a cinematic world of flickering candlelight, storm-lashed castles, and shadows that seemed almost alive. Founded in the 1930s, but finding its greatest fame in the 1950s through the 1970s, Hammer Film Productions became synonymous with horror in Britain, and a major force in global genre filmmaking. Its name is still spoken with reverence among film historians, horror fans, and collectors. To understand why Hammer became such an enduring part of cinema history, one must look at the context in which it rose to prominence. In the early post-war years, Hollywood horror had largely fallen into hibernation. Universal Pictures' legendary cycle of monster films, Dracula, Frankenstein, The Mummy, and The Wolf Man, had defined horror for a generation, but by the 1950s, those creatures were being used mainly in self-parody or ensemble films. In Britain, horror cinema was even rarer, with censors wary of explicit depictions of violence or sexuality. Audiences seeking chills often had to make do with thrillers, ghost stories, or imported American B-movies. Hammer's genius lay in spotting the gap between what audiences wanted and what they were being offered. When the studio began producing horror in earnest, it reimagined classic monsters for a new era, emphasizing three key elements: color, atmosphere, and a heightened sense of danger. Its films were unapologetically Gothic, steeped in 19th-century romanticism, but shot through with the pace and intensity of modern cinema. Blood was no longer a discreet off-screen suggestion. It was bright red, shocking, and impossible to ignore. Just as important was the studio's resourcefulness. Hammer never had the budgets of Hollywood's major players, yet it developed a visual style that made its productions feel rich and expansive. Sets were often redressed and reused, but the art department's attention to detail ensured each film had its own personality. Costumes, lighting, and music combined to produce a signature look and sound that could be identified within seconds. This consistency built a brand identity that rivaled anything in the British film industry. Beyond the aesthetics, Hammer was powered by remarkable talent both in front of and behind the camera. Directors such as Terence Fisher, Freddie Francis, and Roy Ward Baker crafted horror with a sense of narrative drive and thematic weight. Actors like Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, Barbara Shelley, and Ingrid Pitt became icons, embodying the studio's mix of menace and elegance. Their work gave credibility to material that, in lesser hands, might have been dismissed as mere pulp. Yet Hammer was not without its controversies. Its films pushed against the limits of what British censors would allow, often provoking debates in the press about morality, violence, and sexual content. Some critics accused the studio of sensationalism, while others praised its willingness to take risks and challenge the status quo. Either way, Hammer thrived on the attention, understanding that controversy could be as powerful a marketing tool as a positive review. The story of Hammer Horror is one of constant adaptation. The studio expanded beyond Gothic horror into science fiction, thrillers, prehistoric adventures, and even television. It experienced meteoric success, a slow decline, and a surprising revival decades later.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.